Hello. This is going to be a good one. This is a yammer I did not terribly long ago, but with one of my favorite people, Taylor McNallie. It was a great chat. If you're not familiar with Taylor McNallie, she's just a fantastic person. She's a black woman activist who's just putting in the fucking good work right now. So naturally, this is the one video I expect to have all kinds of people going, let me tell you about Antifa and the real racists are the racial people. So if you're going to comment that, maybe shut the fuck up. Anyways, here's my chat with Taylor.
All right, I am now live. And as soon as I can, I will send the link to Taylor. And my computer appears to not be aware of the fact that being not slow is a thing that you can try here in 2021. Okay, let's see. There I am. So I can copy link. Man, my computer's just moving fucking slow. Maybe I could just do it quicker here and add viewers to be in your broadcast. Oh, I have to invite people first. I will invite Taylor. Invited. Okay. And I'll do the thing with the deal with the copying the link, and I will go here and paste. I have someone watching. I don't know who it is, but I bet you're awesome. Because you'd have to be, wouldn't you? Man, my computer's just crawling. I don't know why. It's new enough that I should be offended. So yeah, I'm going to be talking with the amazing Taylor McNallie. She is just an absolute force for change in the world. And I'm really ecstatic that I get the chance to chat with her. And my son is nearby eating ramen. And I have my awesome cool lighting rig, and by that I mean I have a lamp and I have my computer open. It's the little things. Just waiting on Taylor to join in, and then we should be good. This is the awkward part of the Facebook Live session where I go, yeah, waiting. But I don't blame Taylor, I blame the system. The system is, full of things that stop.
Hello.
He really wanted me to do that, I knew it.
Oh, did I?
Now he's bumming smokes off me.
Got a prom?
Yeah, I do, dick. Anyways. Alright, no more jiggling the camera around. Try and be good at holding my phone or something. I have a cool painting behind me. My friend Kiri did that. It's a raven. Nevermore. Taylor said she was trying to make sure she could get in with her computer, so hopefully that's not a problem. She's like an old pro at all of this whole interneting, Facebook Live stuff. She's been doing this 365 days of Facebook Live, so I don't know what day she's on, but basically every day she goes in and does the live stream thing and talks with different people about stuff. She's also active in a million other things, and just like, I don't know where she gets energy because I'm old and broken, and COVID has definitely made me a much slower moving man. But such is life. I have two people on, and of course, why would Facebook want to tell me who they are? I don't know. That's just crazy talk. So we're just waiting. As soon as Taylor's on and I can see Taylor, then I can add her to the thing. So we're in a holding pattern. On my end, life's been decent the last couple days. I ate Wendy's for dinner. I got the French fries with the mayonnaise. That was important and special. And you can actually hear my arteries clog from there if you pay close attention. And yeah, I watched a good movie. I watched what fucking movie was that? Hotel Artemis. It was cool. It's a dystopian future, which kind of just feels right these days. And Hotel Artemis is basically about Jodie Foster plays a person who has a hospital that she runs in an old hotel that's just specifically for patching up criminals who get killed or hurt in the line of duty. So it was an interesting story, and I quite enjoyed it. I would suggest you give it a whirl. I've also been working on writing music, which I see Taylor. I can now add, and that'll start incessantly about whatever bullshit comes to mind. It says it's adding. I believe in you, Facebook. Do I? Oh, connect.
Oh,
Hey, Taylor.
okay, hold on. Hi, how are you?
I'm all right, love. How are you?
Oh, I'm late because I had to call out some asshole.
Oh, I get
You know
it.
how I do.
totally get it. Now I know how you do. I am so very proud that I've never been one of those assholes, because that means I'm probably trying to do stuff in the right direction.
You are, I have to seriously, this is why you and shout out to you and Mark Russell and people just always just being good humans and doing good things. And I don't know, I have a weird relationship with the music scene now after all of the shit that went down in 2020. It's nice to still have some solid people that I can rely on.
I get that. I was let down by some people. I don't think I saw as much, because I saw some of your posts and you were really let down by the music community, and I was like, and then I saw a few people, and I'm not going to name names because we both know some of those names. One of them I badly erased yesterday.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm glad I saw that though, because as everything, you start to just feel fucking crazy about stuff. And
Yeah.
I guess people don't fully realize the true intentions of somebody in the sense of surrounding racism until they experience it or it happens to them. So it's like, I've been out here telling people this guy's a fucking asshole. They're like, nah, it's just he's fine. I'm like, nah, he's an asshole.
See, and I've always looked at it like, I'm pretty sure he's an asshole, but maybe he's not all the way down the Kool-Aid. Maybe there's still hope, and maybe I can inspire or whatever. And I had moments where I thought that was true, and then I guess I was wrong. So
It's okay.
my bad.
It's all right.
Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to start off with is, and it's the only thing that I planned at all in this whole process, because I just want to chat with you. But I wanted to just put out there, I am super happy to talk about all the activism that you're doing and stuff. But I also recognize I leave that entirely up to you, because I imagine you're tired and probably, a chunk of time where you're not talking about it might be nice too. So I'm completely open either way.
Yeah. This is just part of my life now. It's, and I think it's not possible to not talk about these things, and which is something I find I struggle with now, or I have struggled with, because, there was a huge period of last year where it's like I could not talk with anybody, or even JF's like, oh, let's go to a barbecue with my friends, let's go do this, and I was like, and it sounds bad saying okay, well, like, are they all white? Are they just all white people? Like, I just have nothing to relate to with a lot of people in that stage because we're just on different, we are on totally different paths, and something
Oh
that has
yeah.
completely consumed my life. Nobody is even batting an eye at. So, um, but I've found my people, I've found my crew, I've found my team, and friends that have always been there. There are like yourself, they're still around, so that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, a lot of us, I can only speak from my own perspective, but as you started getting more and more involved in the activism side of things, my reaction was, "That's awesome," you know. And honestly, as honky as it sounds, watching your posts to be like, you know, where can I do better? Because like I'm human. I've made my mistakes a time or two.
Hey,
Um,
me too.
yeah, like it's normal and all that kind of jazz. But it was literally like it was a really tangible thing for me as just another middle-aged white guy in Alberta. I was like, okay, not only do I have a black friend, oh my gosh, um, but she's willing to say like, hey, that's not okay. And there are certainly things that posts of yours and conversations that have been had with you that I've watched or read and thought, yeah, I'm guilty of that, aren't I? And the nice thing is,
I'm guilty of so many things too. You know how many times I've stood in a room, at Distortion, in a room full of people who are my friends and have just been like, oh yeah, it's fine to say nigga. It's fine in here. It's fine with me. And that's simply just because of, the environment I grew up in and the, growing up in rural Alberta and in a white family and white town and just
mhm,
allowing so many things. And then because you want to fit in or you want to have friends, you don't want to make a big deal about things. That's just how it's always been,
yep,
is just to allow stuff because I've never had anybody else to help me challenge those things. So then it's like coming out and saying like, okay, this is not right, let's try and change things. And then so many people being like, oh, well, you were fine with it before. I was like, it doesn't matter. We are adults. We learn things, we grow, we do better. When we learn better, we do better. So
yeah.
yeah.
It that argument bugs the shit out of me that you were okay with it before. It's always been okay, because I don't know that that's the case. Maybe it's always driven that person absolutely nuts, but they're like, "That's cool, guy. You do you," and they
Yeah.
finally summed up the courage to say something about it. Or maybe it's simply, like consensual sex, where you're starting to do things, and all of a sudden the person goes, "You know what? I'm not okay with this," and you have to be like, "And we're stopping."
Oh, see, that's a great way to look at things. I'm gonna put that in my pocket for later.
Absolutely. Yours don't even have to put a little footnote in for me. That's just yours is a gift.
Jim.
My gift to you. But yeah, like it's weird because I do that thing that I think a lot of people do where I try to relate stuff to my own personal experience. And unfortunately, I'm smart enough to know that my own personal experience is very narrow. And so where I can find an allegory in my own life, I know that it's like the tip of the iceberg for things. Um, so that, I can look at times where I've been discriminated based on look and be like, oh yeah, that sucked. And that was a moment, as opposed to like the entire waking everyday moments of your life kind of thing. So yeah,
Mm.
I think that's one of the skills that we all need to work on more is not just empathizing, but empathizing on a deeper level and saying like, yeah, I can relate to a point, and that point ends, and yours begins way, goes way farther than mine. So maybe I need to just shut the fuck up and listen for a minute instead
Yeah.
of talking long.
Yeah, I know my partner Miss K with RAR, or RAR, I keep calling it RAR. It's Inclusive Canada. Fucking
Yep.
hate the name RAR. Um, but she always says we just need radical empathy, and it's something I struggle with all the time too, all the time.
Yep.
Like especially when it's coming to a point where it feels like there's this huge wall between you know, these sides, this left side, this right side, like it's just, and it's coming to a point where there's no opportunity to communicate or have these conversations or, you know, learn new things. And it's just so hard to break that barrier, and yet frustrated because it's people just completely denying your experience, your life experience, your experience as a human. And it's so,
Yeah,
it's
if
just,
I could just interject, that's not true and you never experienced that. Sorry.
oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding.
And I'm just gonna leave. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It was a short chat tonight. I don't know why that happened. I'm just kidding. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling with it. I mean, like I said, I was late here because I was calling somebody out. I've tried not to call a lot of people out lately. This guy's just been like, It's been it's been like a year in the make. I mean, it's been longer than that. I used to work at the place, so it's just I'm trying hard, but also like some people I don't know how else to get shit through to them, or I don't know. I'm losing patience, Jim. I'm losing them.
If anyone has the right to do that, like right before Christmas, I don't remember what the issue was, but something came up and I wanted to post about it. And I was like, I'm too exhausted. And then I just giggled at the ridiculousness of that. Like, oh no, sad white male has to be really tired.
Taylor's adding, at least in theory, got the best screenshot.
Hello.
I don't know. I suddenly got a message. It was like, your wireless is garbage and we hate you and we're trying to reconnect. And I was like staring at this for a second. Then I was like, why do I care about it if it be on wireless? I'll just turn my Wi-Fi off. Damn it.
So here we are. Sorry
Okay,
about
I
that.
got the best screenshot of your face that froze.
I want to see it. I want to see it, and then I want you to destroy it.
Fair. That's fair. Yes.
But yeah,
But like you being exhausted, I feel like anybody who is putting in the work is allowed to feel exhausted. You will feel exhausted, especially if it's like something new to your journey now. It's a lot to take in because not only are you learning and unlearning all of this shit, but then you also have to implement that into your life, and then also have to deal with your friends and your family and your workplace, and you're seeing new things, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's going to be a lifelong journey, a lifelong process, and it is a lot to take on. So if you're doing the work, you're going to feel fucking exhausted. It's the truth. And I don't know. Maybe we all have to start like tapping each other out. Like, okay, I'm done. You in now. I don't know, but yeah,
no, because you know what's gonna happen there. Every white person, is gonna be like, Taylor, tag me in, Taylor. You have a boundless energy, and I'm so tired because I wrote a thing on Facebook, and also my feet hurt. My point in saying all that was not to justify like, boy, I sometimes get tired. Exactly the opposite. It was me saying, if whatever experience I have where I feel exhausted or whatever is just like a drop in a leaky bucket compared to your everyday experience, especially in the last year. So I wouldn't say that it invalidates my experience, but it certainly puts it into a really important honky perspective for me to be able to be like, maybe I need to suck it up a little, and maybe now's the time I need to dig a little deeper, because I'm not the only person on earth who's feeling this, and I'm probably the one who's feeling this the least.
Well, you're doing great. I'm happy to see your voice and your name pop up in some things, because it's like, fuck, if nobody's in here, I'm gonna have to jump in here, and I don't want to jump in here. I'm like, oh, Jim's in here. Okay. Oh, Mark's in here. Okay. Oh, somebody's in here. All right, I'm out.
Yeah. I literally, like, I did actually take a couple of weeks off Facebook, and it wasn't out of that kind of exhaustion. It was just like, I'm so tired of the stupid. And those 2 weeks were wonderful. And then I woke up like 2 weeks later, and I was like, this is very selfish, because frankly, if I'm not reminding some people that humanity's a good quality to work towards, then I know people that will be like, maybe it's not. I read this internet page that said that I'm perfect just the way I am, so I don't have to change.
So true. But I think everybody should take some time off social media. I know I'm trying to hopefully set up some things that will obviously take me probably all of 2021 to be able to set up properly, where I can remove myself from social media, which is huge, because, you know, this is for the last, you know, a few years at least, social media is where I make money. This is how I make money. So it's really hard to separate myself from that. And everything I do, all of my career, everything is all connected to this. So it's like, I have to really cut a cord, but I have to set up so much shit before I do.
Yeah.
But my goal is getting myself off of all of this shit, because I don't want to be here anymore. Even if it gets better, I don't want to be here anymore. It's just so toxic and just draining from real life that it's just not worth it.
And honestly, that's the thing that I've been picking up myself. Sorry, I'm bouncing the camera around like an idiot. The thing I've been picking up is the amount of times where, you know, I'm scrolling through, like today, yesterday and today with the craziness in Washington. I had the Guardian. I had a page of theirs that just constantly re-updates with whatever is the latest you know, details on that, and I found it really fascinating. And then so that's, you know, been a good. And then I go in and, you know, hop on the internet, and fortunately I'm not seeing a lot of stupid, because I think I've weeded most of the dumb people. I'm saying dumb and stupid, that's not right. Most of the more ignorant people out of my universe of it. So that's, I mean, that's good, but I also, the amount of like emotionally manipulative and where you just feel like you're compelled to tell someone that that it's going to be okay, and not in a way that like you actually care about or believe. Like, there are plenty of people. I love a lot of people. I have a giant heart, and I will reach out to those people, and you know, if I see anything remotely sad or whatever, I'll just like send a private message and be like, just, I want you to know. I've done this with you, where I've said like, you know, hey, I know you're going through some stuff, and I just want you to know that I got you, and if you ever need anything, let me know, and you know, that kind of thing.
And not a lot of people do that. So thank you.
Really, I just assume that's a thing people do, because like I posted the other day, I was like, I'm kind of depressed, and it was because I was kind of depressed because I'm going through you know, my own stuff right now, and you know, it was a particularly hard couple of days, and I got a pile of people who were messaging me, and it was exactly like, when I say I'm kind of depressed, what I mean is like, oh, I'm feeling a little sad, you know, like I'm not like, you know, I'm considering doing something drastic or anything like that. Like, I'm just today is a hard day, and I'm pretty open about my emotions, so you know, I say that. And yeah, this outpouring of people going like, dude, are you okay? Do you want to talk? Like, you know, can I send you money or porn or whatever? And I'm like,
well, yes to both. Yes, please.
Yeah, like, do you have any pictures of your wife? No.
Oh man.
No. But you know
See,
what? Like,
the messages I'm getting are more like, and the nice ones come through, but it's also just like, I just, you know, obviously I've built a personal brand over so many years. So, you know, when you look at my page, if there's 4,000 people there, the amount of people I actually know personally that I would call up if I had a problem and be like, yo, I need somebody here, is very small. So it's not a lot of genuine things or anything. You know, I try to take every nice message and you know, take it in a nice way, but the genuinity of it, it's just you know, there's still just that weird, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain that. I hope that's is making sense in some way.
I know exactly what you mean
now.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Okay, yeah, it's just, yeah, so, but I'm glad. How are you doing today?
Today's a better day. Today's a
Good.
better day. The stuff that I'm dealing with is still ongoing, but today I actually had a day off from work, so that means I got to sleep in, which means I didn't actually sleep in, because why would my body not be a slave to capitalism?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Crazy talk. And then so I got up and I had huge plans. I was gonna record some bass lines for the writing that we're doing with Bodies of Everest right now. Didn't do any of that. Didn't do a gosh darn thing. But I watched a movie and I chatted with my eldest son, and yeah, that was pretty much my day.
That sounds
Not the
lovely.
most, not the most productive, but probably the most necessary, because it helped me sort of get my head on straight a bit more, and I've been trying to do that more the last few days with all the things that are going on in my universe. And oddly enough, thank goodness they stormed Washington, because that really took my brain off my own problems. I said that out loud.
Oh
Not
God,
a
not
good
even, man.
person.
It's entertaining to watch this shit play out. It's entertaining, but also scary because, you know, I don't think people fully realize how tied American politics are to Alberta and how closely Albertans are using this as some sort of influence. Like, I would not be surprised if some fucking people start trying to storm Calgary City Hall. Like, it's just, so it's entertaining, but it's scary because I know like everything they do there is like, ugh, fuck, we only 3 weeks out now, guys. Buckle up, you know.
Do you remember? Do you remember the TV show Max Headroom?
No, I do not.
It's probably because I'm old. But it was believe it or not, they made a TV show based on a computer generated character that was created as a spokesperson for Coke, and his name was Max Headroom, and they ended up building an entire science fiction series out of Max Headroom, and it was really enjoyable. But the key thing about it is all the things at the bottom of the, you know, on the screen at the start of the show, it said 20 minutes in the future. And the whole, like, it was a dystopian future kind of thing, but the idea being like, this is only 20 minutes from now, and, you know, it could be happening. And I feel like when we watch American politics, especially with the insanity, I keep doing it, with the wild, reckless, creepy right wing, like marching on Washington or screaming and blowing things up and beating people up, that's 20 minutes in our future, because, you know, those people here are watching and they're like, I could totally go and do that.
They're like, I could do that. They did that. We could do that. And the amount of times they keep getting away with shit too. Like, that's how these things build up. You know, everyone got to see what happened in fucking Red Deer. And that is something that really empowered them to continue to be pieces of shit. And then, you know, you see how things were handled at one of their last anti-mask rallies in Calgary, where, you know, they basically swarmed police because police just decided they decided to send 10 guys out, and they weren't really prepared on what they were fucking doing. But, you know, meanwhile, when we look at Black Lives Matter marches, or, you know, marches for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, or anything, it's like it's heavily policed. There's police everywhere, and they are prepared, and they even dress differently. Like, it's just a completely different experience when it's like, you know, society, and over so many generations and so much time, it has been looked at that racialized people are the enemy. That's how the society was built. That's how everything was built, to make us look like the enemy. And it's like, slowly people are fine. I mean, especially after what happened in fucking Washington, people are like, all right, well, maybe they're not the enemy, you know? But then
Yeah.
people are still like, nah, they just as bad as BLM and blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck, I cannot with these people.
Yeah,
Cannot.
no,
We rioted once. We didn't burn shit down.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole argument is amazing to me. Like when you guys were in Red Deer and those cranky pants were all screaming and they're like, "You're not gonna burn our town down." Like,
And one
right,
dude
we're
was
not.
yelling, "You assault people!" Meanwhile, his friend is literally punching two people in the face, and it's like,
Yeah.
what? It's just this so delusional. Like I don't
Oh,
even know what
yeah.
station they're on.
What it is it's this like need to be important. I really, really believe that these people need to have a sense of self that says, I am leading, I am strong and fearless, and I will not be cowed, and I will not be dominated. And they lack any ability to like process thought or empathize with a human being. but
Mm.
but that it's I remember there was a thing I read once, and there was a psychopath that they were interviewing. They were about to release from mental hospital after like 20 years of incarceration, and it was during the 1984 Summer Olympics, which I also remember because I am old. And Mary Lou Retton was the sweetheart of the world. And she was the gymnast who was like everyone was going, oh, Mary Lou Retton's so wonderful, she's American pure, and ding. And they were talking to this guy, and he's watching gymnastics, Olympic level gymnastics on the TV, and they're like, so what do what's your plan? What are you going to do when you get out? And he's like, I think I'll be a gymnast. And it wasn't a joke. He genuinely, someone who's basically been sitting for 20 years and eating crappy hospital food, like he wasn't in the kind of Olympic contender shape, you know what I mean? Nor was he, it was completely unreasonable to assume, but there wasn't that wire there that said maybe that's a thing that I wouldn't be able to do. So they're like, I'm a leader and I'm a huge, wonderful person. And all the things that are like, no, you're not, just aren't there in their heads. And so they go, well, nothing's complaining with that, so I must be, therefore. And then they find jackasses like themselves who are like, I also am a leader and I will fight with you and we'll murder everyone in our path who stands in the way of not murdering people.
Yes.
And it just literally, I got nothing. I don't understand them.
It's definitely, because we were studying a lot of members of hate groups and hate groups in general. And, my partner with Inclusive Canada, she has helped to deprogram neo-Nazis throughout her career. That's what she does. And, it really is kind of like this sense of belonging. And everything, as everything, we're human. So all of our shit always stems from, past trauma or past experiences. And, a lot of the people joining hate groups and joining these movements are people who have a lot of childhood trauma, whether that's abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, or being bullied as a kid, just having a rough childhood or what so have you, and trying to find where they fit in, or trying to find like that brotherhood or that family feeling. And and being a patriot is a very family brotherhood feeling, and that's why it's so hard to break out of. And especially when it comes to hate groups, I don't know, because I feel like there's this small different mentality between hate groups and their members as opposed to patriots. But when it comes to hate groups, a lot of these people are joining these groups and then get so involved in it. And I mean, you can look at these patriots and see when you have these crazy fucking ideas where you're believing all these conspiracy theories and these misinformation campaigns, all the propaganda, the anti-mask, you lose a lot of people in your life where these are the only people you have now. So how do you adjust back into some sort of normalcy in your life where there is nobody there to catch you afterwards because you've lost everybody? So it's like you become stuck in what you've created. And it's really hard to get people out of these sort of groups, or it's a hard process. So
Yeah.
once you're kind of you're in there, unless you're willing to be alone for a little bit, and that's a scary thing.
Yeah. The other thing that is a thought that I've been bouncing around a little bit with regard to this. People keep asking that really annoying question, like, well, the guy who's in charge of the Proud Boys is he's not a white person, so how can they be racist? And the way that I just think about that is like Mormonism. Like when the Mormon missionary comes to your door, if they said, hey, guess what? When you die, you get your own star if you're a guy, and you get to fuck all sorts of people. If you're a girl, you get to be a space whore. But guys get to be space gods who make their own race or whatever the fuck that is they believe. I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like if they led with that, you'd be like, you're insane, and you need to not talk to me. And I did it again there, the insane word. You
It's
are not
hard.
right.
It's hard. Even
It's
guys,
that
I'm
one
trying to
is-
cut guys out of my vocabulary right now, and it's so hard. I'm
Yep.
trying. Yep.
We're all working. I'm catching myself, and that's the thing that I'm okay with there. Anyway, so you'd slam the door in their face because clearly they were wrong. But they lead with, oh, we believe in community values, and you know what? We don't even want to preach to you. Let me mow your lawn for you. Let me shovel your walk for you. And it's a little cold. Do you mind if I just would it be okay? Thank you for the coffee. Can I just pray over the cup of coffee? You don't have to partake, and it's that like easing you into. And so whether it's the Proud Boys thing or the anti-vax movement, the anti-mask movement, and not all of those things, but there's that around the fringes, it starts to sort of eke its way in and take over and become a recruiting vessel for that alt-right stuff. So
Yeah.
there's probably Proud Boys that aren't racist, but
Well, and
probably they're on their way.
yeah, and the thing is too, I mean, a lot of these movements, it's so important, and it's important to see that most of these movements began as anti-government movement. I mean, I don't want to say all of them, but a lot of them anti-government movements, which is very, very easy to jump on board. To me, I feel everybody should be jumping on fucking anti-government movements. Because as a people, the government, whether you're black, indigenous, white, whatever you are, the government is not out there for you. We should all be coming together, and we should all be burning down buildings, okay? We should all be going and rioting, government buildings. That's my personal opinion, okay? Am I going to do that right now? No, anybody watching? But there's a lot of, there's different types of racism. You don't have to be racist against black people. It's rooted in anti-racism, but, there's anti-Semitism and there's Islamophobia and, he may have a black friend, but what about, any other race? There's a lot of different things within that. And I mean, Gavin, let's not pretend, Gavin was also at the Capitol Hill riots. Gavin is a Canadian man who created that and is very still involved with that. And there's always going to be a token. There's always going to be some sort of sacrifice to put out there to make people. So when you see a Cuban dude leading the Proud Boys, you'd be like, see, they're not racist. They have one. It's a lot of the times why, people like me are booked for shows or booked for events, or, they got to just put a tick on the paper to just say, see, I did it. It's very easy. This is optics. This is a tactic that has been used for so long, and people just don't care to read into history or, read into anything else regarding what Proud Boys are or any of these other hate groups. So yeah, it's frustrating.
And
that comes up all the time.
The thing that popped into my head as you were speaking there, sort of joining two thoughts there. The other thing that I think that people don't think about as being racist is the little things. So, as you were saying, like, oh, I have a black friend and stuff. I have a black friend, but his friends, they're all a little bit trouble. He's one of the good ones. Like those comments and those thoughts, which we all have.
And being a black woman who was a lot of the times one of the only black people within the metal scene, if I go to Distortion on, almost all the nights I went there, most of the time I was kind of the only black person in there. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
And I've heard it more time, and I don't want to just call out Distortion because I love Distortion. Distortion's my home. I'll say anywhere I've gone to, whether that is, a Broken City or wherever I've been. This is just using that as an example. I don't need to call it out. But, I've always heard those comments, and I've always to a lot of people, been that person where it's like, nah, you're fine. But any other black people, or those really, really black people, or,
Yeah.
I've always been that exception, which is something that I've had to experience and grow through and unlearn and go through all of that stuff as well. So yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. And I think that um, especially honkies, which is, it's our word, um, especially honkies, we're bad at calling ourselves out on it. A lot of the times, like, we don't see it. We don't see it when it comes out of our own faces. I know I'm just as guilty as everyone else, i.e., all the times I'm using words like crazy and insane and then going like, oh,
Fuck,
but
I just said that again. Damn it.
yeah, it's literally um, it's work to police ourselves, and most of us don't put that effort in, and because we think that there isn't a problem, and that's sad, I think, because it leaves, using the example of being the only person of color at a show. God knows I've booked my share of shows, and yeah, a lot of the time it's a sea of honkies, and we all want a wildly diverse crowd, or not all, actually. That's not a fair statement at all.
That ain't true.
But people like me want
Yeah.
a diverse music community. But there's a reason that people don't feel comfortable, and that's something that we have to accept as music promoters, as musicians, and be aware of and stand up for. One of the things that most sort of touched me in being seen by someone was Corey from No More Moments called me up one day, and he was like, I just want to say thanks. We play metalcore shows all the time with suburban rich white kids, and they literally just look at us like, oh God, those people are Indians. Better not do anything, or the Indians will probably go crazy. And they hate it. And then they come to our shows, and the minute that Corey walks into the room, I'm hugging the hell out of that kid because I love him like he's family. I love all of those guys. And
Shout out to No More Moments. Yes.
No More Moments, Iron Tusk, and
Yeah.
After the Prophet, they're all sort of interweaved with some of the same musicians, and all fantastic bands, all fantastic people. But yeah, they feel that, and I remember, I think it was Carlin either wrote or shared a piece um, many years ago about the experience of a Indigenous person going to live music shows, and reading it was heartbreaking, and I was like, I hope I never ever made people feel like that, but I probably did, right? I hope not.
Man, I want to find that piece. I'll have to see if I can find some keywords and be like, Carlin, send that over.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, I know it was Carlin for sure, because I think I did the honky thing and like messaged him and was like, but I'm okay, right? Which I'm learning.
It's okay.
Yes, there, white person. You're just fine the way you are. Yeah. That's the part that sucks is the number of times where I do something and I'm like, oh my God, that's what all of white people do, and it's not okay. And why am I doing that? Fuck.
But it's because it's been so ingrained into us, like the thing that is so hard to break people from the systemic racism or what has been ingrained into us is that it's just learned behaviors passed on through generations that so many people don't even realize they're doing stuff. It's in all of us. And even speaking with other Black members of the community or Indigenous peoples, and it's like that runs, even it's so ingrained that it even runs within our communities when it comes to internalized racism and lateral violence, and everything is literally rooted in anti-Blackness, and everything we do, everything we buy, everything we say, that is just the mentality that has been created. And that's why it's so hard to have the conversation or try to change things or like, I keep, oh, I'm gonna have to charge my phone soon. I keep thinking it's so difficult because I want to, like, I am in meetings with government officials all of the time, whether it's, MLAs or police officers or whoever the fuck these conversations are always happening, but these conversations have been happening for fucking years before me. And, the statistics and everything is already there for people. The resolutions or the solutions are there for people, and it's like action needs to happen. And it's like we've been doing this for so long now. Are we too far gone with words? That's the part that sucks, because me and so many other people are just putting in the work all day, every day, and I really feel so many people are getting to a point like we're done. Like you're so exhausted, and it's like if we can't do it for the last 60 years, the last 100 years, the last 150 fucking years, like how are we going to make this change? Is it possible? Can we talk it through? Can we keep having these meetings? Like I don't know. I did apply for the CPS committee. We'll see what happens with that. I'm feeling nothing will come from it, but I'm hoping somebody great takes that spot. I know, I've been working with the hate crimes unit here in Calgary, and that's the thing too. ACAB, okay, fuck police, but we also working with them. All right, we're trying to work with them because that's what we have.
Yep.
And we need to find a way to have them working with people like Bear Clan or Water Warriors or somebody who is already out here doing that work properly when it comes to racialized individuals, at-risk individuals that police just don't have that training for, because you can have as much diversity training as possible, and you're never going to learn how to properly put yourselves in the shoes of a Black person or an Indigenous person unless you have been there, whether that's, as an addict, as a Black person, as an Indigenous person, growing up on a reservation, any of these things. So I've been working with Hate Crimes Unit and Diversity Team, and hopefully I can get within those institutions, or somebody great within our city can get in there, because that's the only way we can actually make this change, is having our people in these institutions. Otherwise, there's literally no hope in making this change.
Yeah. One of the things that like regularly people, Jean-Guy Rubber Boot is really, really good or bad for this, is he'll send me a comment on something and post it. It'll be like, Jim for Prez. And I get that a lot because I'm a, brilliant thinker and all, wonderful in general. And what weirds me out about that is there was a time I actually wanted to go down that road. And I created a petition to create the Alberta Anarchist Party, which is the most ridiculous concept on earth. I couldn't even get my mom to sign the petition, so it's not going to happen. But I didn't want it to be like, oh yeah, we'll run and we'll win. It was more like I want to start people, thinking in the right direction and stuff like that. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, and every time issues come up and I comment on them, people are like, you should run for office or whatever. And I'm thinking, like, that's the last thing the world needs, is another fucking white guy in office. I'm smart, but that doesn't mean that that's the voice we need to hear. Frankly, I love the sound of my own voice. It's like poetry. But also, it's time for other people to have a chance.
Yeah. Here, give me 1 second. I had to plug in, so now I have to find something else to put my phone on. So give me a second. You're gonna look at the ceiling for a second.
So we're here in Taylor's A room. There's some track lighting. Really nice track lighting. I think those are the bulbs with the little weird.
Oh God! No, don't look at my old lights.
I promise you that I will not judge you on your lighting, because I imagine that you did not install that.
I did not. No.
So if the lighting is a problem, it's not your problem.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, I'm no worries. Although, just totally like boob blocked the.
Oh my God, I should have been more prepared here.
Oh no, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
I literally, my whole thing in when I came up with the idea of doing these is I did a couple of podcasts, sort of almost back to back. And I always had the impression like people had things they wanted to ask me and stuff. And I was like, I just want to talk with people. I miss people. And I think
Yes.
it might be a fun thing for people to, to encounter just a conversation between friends. Like, we've almost forgotten how to do that with the whole fake pandemic. Roar.
Oh my God, please no, Jim. Please no.
Let me tell you about what I found on YouTube.
But yeah, the office thing, our lease is up in October, and I really want to get the fuck out of Alberta. And then I entertained the idea of running for like my ward's council. And I'm like, that is a lot of responsibility to take on. It's a lot of shit I'm gonna have to deal with, because I know all kinds of people are gonna come out of the woodworks and be like, trying to fuck shit up. So instead, though, I am gonna help a really good friend of mine run, who I worked with Defund, and I think the team he's building is incredible, and it's really neat because we have somebody in almost every ward running. So it's like, if we can get one person in each area, that would be fucking amazing, especially if Farkas makes it as mayor. If Farkas makes it, I'm for sure leaving this city. I'm done. I'm out. And I think everybody should fucking leave, because the city will go to shit. But so, it's really important that, again, to have those people in office and doing things. But, the system goes so much more beyond just council members and, city mayors. And I don't know if that even helps at this point either, but I don't know. It's a start.
No, I totally get what you're saying. There's so much autonomy in all of the different areas. So it's not like, Nahid Nenshi goes to work and he like walks up to the police officers and goes, okay, you're in car 7 today, Joe. Let me go talk to the garbage men. I'll be right back. It's a big thing. And
Well, it's not like, Mayor Nenshi even has a say when there's misconduct with police. It goes through Police Act, which is a whole other big institution and system to deal with.
yeah, I believe the full text of the Police Act is, we can't do anything bad, so shut up about it.
Basically, that's in the fine print.
Yeah, that's the Crib Notes version.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know what change looks like anymore, because I felt very strongly like my generation, Gen X, was sort of the bridge. There was obviously still a bunch of people who are glorified baby boomers, but there was people like me, and there's a large number of us that were like, we get it. I don't have to understand something to know that it's real. I don't have to understand something to sympathize with it. I just need to listen, and maybe I will understand it eventually. But if I don't, tough for me. That's my problem, not somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
And then the millennials and the Gen Z, I was like, these generations are completely different and amazing, and the sort of the things that they take as writ, that people are equal, and things like non-binary, gender, all of that, which again I can only comprehend so far. But then I go, okay, well, I don't have to comprehend it all the way, because it's not me. I will love those people no matter what. Those people, he said. You know what I mean?
Those people. Oh my God,
Those
Jim.
people. Right? Terrible, Jim. But you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I thought. And then this whole alt-right crap is made up of Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, and I'm like, oh no, like, it's obviously that there's plenty of boomers that are sort of behind the scenes and everything.
Oh, yes.
But there's so many people in those groups that I had so much hope for that are just like, what's awesome? Hate.
It's awesome. Racism. Hey.
Yeah, you know what we should do? Be terrible. Mom always said it was a good idea to be terrible. And I make the hillbilly voice, but because they're Hicks. They may be city-born, city-dwelling folks, but that mentality is straight off the Appalachian Trail. Like, you fuck off with that stuff. That's just so. But it's, you know, somehow it's resonating with people.
And you know, and these movements are happening like throughout Canada, but we still have the most of them here in Alberta. Like, you know, when I talk to friends outside of Alberta, or you know, I'm watching news stories outside of Alberta, you get so caught up here, like this is the norm, like this is happening everywhere, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, no, it's just Alberta is a piece of shit. Okay, all right, this is not normal. Like,
Yeah.
you know, again, what happened in Red Deer when that went national, and it's like, you think this has just been normal for everybody in Canada right now, and then everyone's like, what the fuck is what are you guys doing over there? I'm like, I know, okay, this is not normal, this is not okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, I was born and raised, well, not born. I moved here when I was 2. My first words were, Winnipeg, really? Um,
Aw.
and, but, you know, like, I grew up here. This has always been my home. So there's a certain amount of that shell shocked, like, this must be normal because it's how it always has been. And then I look around and I see the things that even I know are not normal. Like what happened in Red Deer with that counter protest, which it would be nice if there was a protest for them to counter. You were there to talk to people about racism and not to scream and shout and burn a building down. Like that whole thing, I was like, that's not normal. And people were like, but Jim, here's the thing about, you're probably not from here, fella. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe I'm not. Maybe I made this whole thing up and this is some sick, like, dystopian Alberta, like the worst timeline Alberta.
That's what I keep trying to tell myself. And then I wake up every morning, I'm like, nah, same shit. All right. Like, every day just gets weirder. Every day, like, you don't know what to expect anymore. I don't know what's going to happen today. What's going to happen today? I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
But
if
also, I mean, I shouldn't say not what's going to, because a lot of shit is predictable too. I mean, especially this month, given what's happening in the States, we're going to see a lot of shit happening here. So it's like, it's kind of predictable in some sense, but also like, you never know what the fuck they're going to do still. You know, they're going to attack. What are they going to do though? Could be anything.
That's the thing is, the chances are it ain't going to be that, that attack is going to be them on Facebook going, gosh darn it, I disagree with your perspective.
We're past that. We're so past that.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
I didn't see details about that guy at the mosque today with the knife. So I don't know. I think I was talking to somebody and they said that they're not pursuing it as a hate crime. But I heard blonde-haired dude with a beard and a knife in a mosque, and my brain did not immediately go, oh, I bet it's a lover's quarrel, because this is Alberta.
Guy with a beard and it's not a fucking hate crime. I'm gonna be looking into this afterwards. That's for sure.
Yeah, and again, I don't know the details. This was all sort of third hand, but I did see right before this when I was going to the bathroom to make the poop. And I saw a link to the article, and I didn't click on it because I was almost done with the pooping. But I was like, that's, yeah. And then somebody sort of in passing earlier had mentioned it and said, yeah, they're not investigating it as a hate crime. And yeah, like I know there are other crimes involving white people and not white people, but it's awful hard to think of them because the race thing is so common now.
And the thing with hate crimes too is like it's a lot of the times the people who go about trying to charge for hate crime, they will be told to list it as something else because it's so hard to prove hate unless somebody is standing there yelling at you, calling you a nigger or whatever else. And even then, they still try to have you classify it as something else because more times than not, if you push it through as a hate crime, it will not be, prosecuted as such, or it won't go it will not go through anything. It'll be thrown out. So
Yeah.
we have a huge problem with that shit here. And even with the hate crimes unit here in Calgary, it is so small. There's literally like one guy working on all of hate related matters in Calgary. And that alone shows there's a huge problem because these things are rising. You can see
Yep.
the numbers everywhere. Hate crimes are rising. Alt-right groups are rising. White supremacy is rising. It's all there. It's so easy. But, you know, that's
And I
why
didn't-
we can have Proud Boys with their jackets out at fucking City Hall or marching down Stephen Avenue and nothing is being done about it. Like, how
Yep.
fucked up is that to be eating lunch somewhere and you just see Proud Boys walk in? Like, that's not okay. Not okay.
Yep. Not even remotely. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about this today, and I couldn't think of like a clever way to express it. But a few years back, when the armed forces had these 4 or 6 or whatever it was, people who were quote unquote proud boys, and we all went, "What's a proud boy?" And we, you know, back when we had not heard about this, and people were like, "Well, they clearly shouldn't be in the military. You know, that's wrong." And now those same people are like, "I'm so glad they're at our march. We're going to be safe from Antifa." I
And
actually
let's
heard.
make it fucking clear, very clear too, that Antifa, which apparently I'm the queen of here in Alberta, and BLM, I am Queen Antifa. That is what they call me. And I'm going to say right now that we have never once went and counter protested any of their events. We see an event and we're like, oh, let's watch this play out from online. Like, we've never shown up. We've never tried to infiltrate. We've never tried to fucking do anything. These people literally stalked us for a year, online and offline. And people are still trying to make it seem like we are the bad people. I'm like, yo, I'm at home making macaroni. Like, I was not there.
But as a Fox News journalist, let me just be
Oh,
fair
God.
and balanced and say that if you hadn't burned all of Calgary to the ground personally, Taylor,
Mm.
then you may not. So I can't even say that with a straight face.
Okay.
I literally, I was watching. I think it was Colbert from last night, but I was watching it on YouTube today, and some person they were talking about, you know, how they're spinning the whole Washington thing to be, yeah, it's agents of Antifa, and somebody actually said, you know, these fascist Antifa people, and I was like, dude, like, draw that like an equation and see what you wind up with, because that's not much. Like, what are you fucking talking? Fascist Antifa? Oh, that's what?
What? You say that
Like,
again, you know?
Yeah, like,
And-
do
and
you
the thing
try to write?
No, they have not, which is another
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
But like the funny thing is, like, all these people who are watching from the sides, like even people here who are not showing up to counter protest or to attack groups, or, you know, the people who are just keyboard warriors who are supporting from the computer, they don't know all the things that are going on. So these people coming out here saying, oh no, it was BLM and Antifa, you can literally go on fucking Twitter or go, you know, troll this parlor page of theirs or any of these things, and they are so proud and happy to have done this. They are very happy with taking credit for this because they fucking did it. Like, I don't know what are you smoking?
I am smoking.
Oh, good. I was gonna ask, can I smoke here?
You can, as long. I promise I won't blow it in your face.
Oh, thanks so much.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Like, oh, I should show you this real quick.
Oh, yay! Oh, they're so nice.
All right, those have been up for a while.
I still have some. They are $30 for the pair, and I still have a few of them. So
I have. When I put them up, I was expecting to have like confrontations with people, but it turns out I'm a very large, scary white man, and they're not willing to have that
They're
conversation with me.
confused. They're like, oh, I thought he was one of us. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that which yeah, my where I live is neat. But yeah, like I think people don't know what's happening, and by probably a forced ignorance. You know, I refuse to know what's happening because it's awkward and uncomfortable. And
or literally people who didn't know what the fuck was happening in Washington yesterday, but they've been on Facebook all day. I'm like, I don't know where How do you not? Did you just like scroll past everybody's posts about it? How did you not see that? How do you not
Yeah.
know what's happening right now?
Have you unfollowed everything?
Yeah.
I hated going on Facebook and there was all these things to read.
So I just stopped doing it and looking at pictures
Yep.
instead.
Oh, I
That's
go
really-
on Facebook, but I just don't, I have everyone blocked.
Oh, I want to drop names, but I'm not going to drop names. It's funny. There's been a couple people, this one person in particular, at the beginning of 2020, who came out to. She's a white passing Indigenous woman, okay? But she is racist. She doesn't believe in BLM. She thinks it's a terrorist organization, all this shit. She's very anti-mask. She helps, attend, film, and organize these anti-mask rallies in Calgary. And she also does not like trans people. She's very transphobic. All of these things going on against women's rights. So at the very beginning of 2020, when I was just calling out fucking everybody, I called her out. And then, I try not to get too involved in comment sections, even if they're my own now. Unfortunately, I'm just going to drop that there. Oh, okay, I'm done now. But there was hundreds of comments of people just tearing into this woman. And she must have blocked a good 150 people just that one day. Like, there's no, even people that have tried to have cool conversations with, like, they'll leave a comment, blocked right away. Just blocked right away. I was like, okay, all right.
Yep.
Mm.
I went through real turmoil when I started to either unfriend people or block people or unfollow people, because I have the mixed thing of, like, I don't want to be exposed to your ignorance, but at the same time I want you to be exposed to my not ignorance. And the more I started first, like, unfollowing people, and then I would find out through the grapevine that they were saying just like, okay, Jim, why are you still friends with this person? I'm like, I don't know. How do you not? I followed them. and that felt like a cop out. So I started unfriending people, and I really only block people when it's like, if you go and post a thing and be like, this person, I'll be like, blocked. Never even heard of you. Blocked. Don't need you in my life.
That's the thing too, right? Being in this industry, we've collected a lot of people we met at a show once or met outside the bar smoking or something. And it's like they've been there for like 5, 8, 10 years. You don't even remember their name and they just pop up. And it's real. I delete people every fucking day. I'm deleting people. Somebody told me a good trick, when you have the little birthday notifications to come up, you just go through the birthdays. And I'm like, oh, happy birthday. That's amazing. Delete. But
my birthday gift to you is fuck off.
Yeah, happy birthday. Fuck you. That's for you. But it's really easy to make that decision now because, like I was saying, it's a lot of the people who are stuck within these groups right now. There's not for a very long time is there going to be an opportunity for them to come out, come back on this, come back to knowledge and non-ignorance, like you said. And so when somebody's just spewing shit, like, it's just not even worth it to get involved anymore unless they are very close family. It's so much better for your sanity. Just delete it. It's fine.
Yep.
Especially if you haven't talked to them in years. Who gives a fuck? Let them go. Make room for new people.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think I have given way too many people way too many credits, and it's worn me down. That's the reality. Is I have become, my exhaustion has not been from the random people in the world. It has been from people who should fucking know better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
To me, like, I'm a punk. That's my roots in music, and I punk, metal, rock and roll, whatever. I do it all. But at my core, I've always been a punk rock kid, and that, to me, was always a scene that stood up. And we kicked Nazis out of shows. We didn't put up with that shit. We've always been, or in my mind at least, we've always been very welcoming and very supportive and very blah 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 blah. And it almost feels like a bigger letdown when it's someone with those kinds of same background experiences and stuff, and then I see them and they're like, well, here's the thing about Justin True dope and Kiba, and you're like, fuck, oh, I
Not
thought you were
you.
better than this. Like, one of the worst things I've done in a long time is I think it was Dead Kennedys posted something a while back that was political and was like, I can't believe Trump is such an idiot, whatever they said. And I read the comments, Taylor.
No,
And
don't
it was
ever
all
read the
people-
comments.
But like,
Abort
I figured the Dead Kennedys was safe. And it was all these
Mm.
people who were like, when did you guys get political?
Like, wow.
Joe fucking ran for governor. Like, what are you talking about?
Any punk or metal, I mean, that's why I loved metal to begin with, is because it was so political. Especially, like, okay, my favorite band still is Mushroom Head. That is, I play them every fucking day. I will probably until I die. And, and because a lot of their shit was so political. And when it's this metal and punk music, and to be honest, a lot of music, I mean, maybe not shit music today, a lot of music is political. It's an art form. That's how people are expressing their distaste with the fucking world or what they love about it. It's always been political. So anybody saying when did you get political on a musician's page is fucking dumb. All right, sit down, read a book, listen to the record, look up the lyrics. Like,
Yeah, the Beatles were political. And the whole thing about punk music was it was people who, these were not classically trained musicians who had been, studying the punk milieu. They were kids who, like, I found a guitar and I don't really know how to play it, but I kind of want to scream a lot. I want to scream and make the world listen to me. And, when I was a kid, I listened mostly to gangster rap because I was that white kid.
I did not know that about you, Jim.
It's true. I was back in like the tail end of my listening would have been like EPMD and the first album by the DOC and stuff, like, from a timeline perspective. That was my era.
Yeah.
And I had come to it because it was political, and it was the same idea. It was people who, they didn't necessarily have access to instruments, but, dad had a turntable and a bunch of old records, and we're going to just get out there and we're going to scream our fucking faces off and make ourselves be heard. And I love that. I love that underground fuck you of youth saying, I'm going to do what I want to do. Like, that's beautiful to me.
Yeah.
And now to have people who are like, well, when did Reagan Youth become passionate about politics? The fucking name is Reagan Youth. They weren't pro-Reagan. It boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Or fucking what's the idiot from the Misfits? I'm a Western chauvinist. Oh, fuck you.
Mhm.
First off, your band has always been terrible, but second off, now you are not even a human being. And
Yeah.
they are.
Bye.
I bought one Misfits record once, and I was like, never again.
Never again. It's cool though. It's not. COVID and the pandemic, of course, has had its really shit moments, and then there's been some really beautiful, neat things to come out of it. And I think something that is neat that comes out of it is how, again, I shouldn't say neat, okay, because the entertainment scene is fucking drowning, and it will be the last industry to actually pick up again and do well. And I hope I wish people took that more seriously, because everybody loves entertainment. You need entertainment. We need to support the entertainment industry and the scene. But it's making this really neat and beautiful shift because, before we just idolized all these big musicians, all these big artists, and whether they were good or not, maybe we just like them because we've liked them for so long, or, and they're just making all of this money and we're not paying attention to a local scene. And then now, because everything's been forced to go on, we're not buying tickets to concerts. A lot of people aren't buying, their favorite bands merch or CDs. If it's a big band, we're supporting local more. And now people, like when I was part of Socially Distant Fest, when people are playing online now, and you're finding all these really neat musicians from all parts of the world that you would never seen before, even if they're I met so many people within Calgary off Socially Distant Fest, which is a worldwide group for musicians, 170,000 people. I met people in Calgary that I haven't met before, which is fucking weird, who were playing music, who were so good. It's like, how have I not heard you? How have I not seen you perform? How are you not making money for this? And I think it's really neat to see those underground local artists be noticed now, and you know, getting the views compared to these people who have been making millions of fucking dollars off people who probably don't have the goddamn money. So I think that is one really cool thing within all of this, is just people being able to be noticed more. And I'm interested to see how that's going to turn after all of this, you know,
Yep.
what that's going to look like.
Yep, I agree. The other thing I think has been really amazing is with regards to music, and I don't know if this is true for other styles of art, but with regards to music, you know, in the beginning, a lot of people just sort of shut down and were like, okay, well, as soon as this is done, we'll get back. And then the itch comes, and they're like, well, maybe I need to download that free audio editing software and put some stuff together, and or maybe like what Bodies of Everest has been doing. One of my bands is the drummer will sit down and record a drum beat and send it to the band via Google Drive, and then I'll take it and I'll poke around and come up with a bass line, and you know, send it back, and you know, we're all putting the pieces in, and then we can get together once a week virtually and be like, okay, so what did you like? I personally hated this section where I did this thing, but I didn't know what else to do. And then someone else goes, you know, I had a cool idea. You know, like the pandemic didn't stop us. It caused us to sort of look for new things. And like the number of people who are live streaming performances, or you know, in all these various ways, trying to utilize technology just to keep doing what we're doing, I think is fascinating.
Yes. It
Yeah.
shows your creative minds, that you're creative beings, and you know, you will adapt. And I'm happy to hear that, you know, bands are finding way. That's something that did kind of worry me, is because you see all these solo artists now, and you can't get together and jam anymore. So, you know, this aspect of full bands, a 4-piece, 5-piece band, is something. How is that going to move forward too? Because there, you have to find so many different ways to make that work now. And it could, you know, something could stop it as much as like a shitty connection, so I can't make this work tonight, or something, you know. So I'm happy to hear that there are some things that you guys have been finding to make work. And see, I said guys again, and I feel like that's something I'm struggling with, and I think I've probably said it so many times right now. But I'm glad y'all are finding a way to make that work, because I really want to see bands again. Oh my goodness.
You know, your struggle with guys. I never struggle with saying the wrong word ever. I'm sure that no one has noticed me ever do that. But many years ago, I was a roller derby announcer, and there was one event that I was doing, and it was teams from all over North America. And one of the teams came up, and they said, okay, here's our roster, and number whatever 33 is this person. Their pronouns are they and them. Sorry, no, their pronouns are it was they and them, sorry. And I said at the time, I was like, you know, I will absolutely keep that in mind, and I will do the things that I need to do to not say the wrong thing. But you know, I don't use pronouns when I'm announcing, because I get it. So no worries. Like any pronouns, not like I would just refer to people by their name, not like, oh, I use whatever goddamn pronoun I want. It's not what God assigned you, it's what I did. And that was the moment when I realized how often I use pronouns in that context, even when I've got, you know, names and numbers, and I know the skaters and all that stuff. And I didn't fortunately, you know, screw up and say the wrong thing every time they were skating. I said they or them or what have you. But it was a struggle to do that, and it was really eye-opening to realize how much that was happening, where I would use pronouns without even thinking about it. Like you're using guys, like I'm saying crazy. They're just things that until we realize we're doing it, we don't notice. And then when we realize, we look like idiots for a while, because they go, well, that's just crazy. No, that's wrong and incorrect and dumb. No, not dumb. Damn it. Oh.
You know, and it's something that seems so small to so many people can really, it means a lot to so many others. Like it's such a big, amazing and important change to make. Something that small people can start doing right now, today. Just, you know, it's really cool to learn how not to hurt people. It's a cool thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
When a particular friend of mine, who I believe is a mutual friend, Ray,
Yes.
Ray posted that they were wanting to go. I think initially they had said they, them pronouns. And I messaged privately and just said, I'm going to go even one step further because I saw people going, you know, yes, queen or whatever. And I was like, I'm going to call you regent, the gender neutral.
Ooh, I like it. I saw
And
that
yeah.
too. I'm like, wait, but then it's like, okay, because you have to dig so deep. I'm like, okay, well, so anyone can be a queen. It doesn't have to be a male or female. But it makes you just think so many things, which is really cool. It's really cool because I love digging deep in stuff. In the matter of learning more, not digging deep
Yeah.
into how other people are digging deep right now. I don't need to dig that deep.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really cool.
I totally agree. And one of the things that I know I said in the past was I was uncomfortable with the they, them pronouns because in my brain, those are for plurals. And somebody posted something at one point, and this was like quite a long time ago. And when I said that, it wasn't like, well, I'm not using them. It was simply like, okay, this is a struggle for me because of the way that I've learned these words. And they posted one of those references to, like, you know, when the millions of times where we use the quote unquote plural they, them for an individual. And the, you know, the one most common is like, you know, I'm going out with a friend of mine, and you know they're going to meet me at the bar at 10 o'clock. No one would bat an eye at that sentence. No one would be like, wait a minute, which gender are you talking about? Because I can't tell. Right? Like no one would give a shit. And it's something that I've used a million times in conversation, and I had to look at that and be like, okay, turns out I'm wrong and dumb again.
No, you're not dumb. You're not wrong. You've just learned different things, and now it's time to unlearn. You know, I think that's
very much so. Yeah,
people
very much.
not. We were talking about dirty deleting today, and how, you know, it's really hard as humans to see or point out or acknowledge when we have said something wrong or incorrectly, or something that we've said something that this is what we've learned over time. This is just our knowledge, our knowing in this moment. And then you learn something new and amazing. And, you know, that's a really cool learning opportunity, especially when it happens online, when, you know, there's an audience, there's people watching. Yeah, I think it's just, it's so important not to think of yourself as dumb or like, you know, it's just you haven't learned that part, or, you know, there's so many new things popping out that we're all learning. These are all learning experiences for us right now. So,
and we all talk about how it's important to be a lifelong learner, but the minute that's like not in some way associated with a career, well then we're like, I'm not doing that. Why should I have to train? It's, you know what I realized? I had swiped over somehow without realizing, and we've had a whole pile of comments from people that I have not seen at all. Actually, it isn't that much, but
I can't see any, like I can see a few on my phone, but I had my computer open, and there's more than what's on my phone, and I can't see them. But
so I got Carolyn Cron says, love you both. JF says, what up, you beauties? I got a cute screenshot of you guys, which I think I'm pretty sure is me going. Amanda Kiernan from Edmonton says, you've done only peaceful protests. Even when those idiots get violent, you are all still peaceful. My friend Jen said, great conversation. Juanita from the band I can't pronounce, the black metal local band. This was so worth tuning into. I'm sad I missed the first 20 or so minutes. I'm sad too, Juanita. We did some great, the first 20 minutes was the best. No, that's not true at all. Isaac Reset says awesome stuff. Amanda says read the lyrics of people's music. You'll notice tons of political songs. Metalheads don't sing about love, just saying. Fod says hola. And then Jen says totally got to have more of these types of conversations. Meeting of the minds is so awesome. And that's where we're at. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was like, it's weird that no one commented. And then just I thought, what? I did twice. So I assure all those who commented and are probably infuriated now that we didn't address them.
Fuck these people. They ain't even listening to us. They don't care. They out. JF especially right now. He's probably with Caleb.
Probably furious.
Yeah.
But he did. He sent me the screenshot, and yeah, I look like I'm in the midst of composing something with the brown note.
What am I doing?
Looking lovely as always. You're doing like this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Whereas me.
See,
I
mine
swear.
was still moving. It was just you frozen. I'm like, I don't know if people are still here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've never had that happen before in any of the Facebook Live things I've ever done, and so I was like, a thing is happening. What do I do? What do I do? No. And then I messaged you, and right after I messaged you, I was like, I can just turn off my Wi-Fi. Like a goddamn grown-up would have thought
Here
of.
we are. Here we
Yeah.
are. Yeah. Well, this has been very nice. I've been happy to. It's been good to catch up a little bit. I feel like I
Absolutely.
should probably go get my kid ready for bed, and so much work left to do.
Ah, yes. Well, thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed. I always love conversations with you. They're always something that I treasure. Even just like the outside the bar having a smoke and hey, how you doing?
I meant to
You're
be
one of those people.
outside the bar having a smoke.
Those were such back when we could be around humans. Oh, it was such a good time. But yes, I do think we've prattled on quite a long time, and I have enjoyed every second of it. But you know, I can't eat up all your night.
That's fine. You know what? Because I'm doing a challenge right now, so I'll just have you on mine, and we'll just to be continued. ...
You bet. Stay tuned for part 2. All right, hon. Thank you so much.
You're so great. Have a good night, Jim.
You too, darling.
Bye.